G'day everyone, and welcome back to Powersthetics Fitness, helping you to build your body to both look and perform at its best. In today's video, we'll be looking over all the major arm exercises, determining which ones are good, which ones may not be worth your time, and which ones are optimal for getting the most gains possible. So let's jump right into it. So the way this is going to work is that I'm going to go through all these exercises at the bottom. I'm going to put them in the tier list between A and D, and at the end I'll give you my top 3 exercises. So if you're low on time, I'll give you the 3 that you should prioritize doing. I'll then give you an underrated one that doesn't get enough love, and then a bit of an overrated one that I think is often favored a bit too much by the community. Not saying it's necessarily bad, like all these exercises are good, at least to a degree, but just one to show that gets a bit too much love, and I think that may not be as worth your time. Like all these exercises are good, it's a good way to compare and contrast. So let's jump into it with the very classic standing curl. It's shown with a easy bar here, but can be done with barbell, dumbbells, easy bar, whatever it may be, just the standing classic curl. So this is a very good one to be able to load heavy and really work your biceps. It's a good way to build up a lot of size on your biceps. It's definitely a favorite of mine, and obviously one which is very nice to do in the gym, just to load up and just like really pound away and get those absolutely massive guns. So there's not really any negatives in this one, so it's probably just going to go straight to the A tier. I mean, there's no other reason not to. So yeah, definitely very good exercise. Moving right along to the incline curl. Definitely one of my favorite curl variations, because I find in general that this hits the long head of the biceps compared to the short head, and the short head definitely gets a lot of work through a lot of movements where you have your arm out in front, for example, like rows or pull-ups and stuff like that, whereas it's very rare. Like that will emphasize the short head more, whereas the long head is more behind your body, and there's very few movements that do that. And therefore, I think it's very important to prioritize exercises that hit the long head like this. And I love the incline curl. Definitely one of my favorites to just get a lot of volume in and just bang out those curls. And yeah, definitely a favorite, and it's going to go in the A tier. Moving right along to the drag curl, another long head emphasis one. This is good as well because it also will hit the shoulders to a degree, like your rear and lateral delts will be worked. However, it's definitely limited when it comes to the biceps and as well, like just arms in general. So very good exercise, but in terms of arm development, it's going to go in the C tier. Moving right along to the rear cable curl. This is going to be a variation of the cable curl, which emphasizes more of the long head of the biceps, so because as the arm is behind. Definitely a good variation. I know a lot of people who have tried it and have a lot of success. Good exercise, no real faults, but I think that the incline curl is probably a little bit better, so I'm going to be putting it in the B tier. Moving along to the first short head of the bicep exercise being the preacher curl. I'm a massive fan of the preacher curl. It's a good thing just to sit down and just bang out and get some really work on the short head of the bicep. Probably my favorite when it comes to short head of the bicep exercises. And that being said, as I said before, a lot of the time the short head will be worked in a lot of other compound pulling movements, and therefore it's not as necessary. So therefore I'm going to be putting it in the B tier. Still a great exercise, best when it comes to short head if that's a lagging body part for you, but just for overall for most people, I'm going to be putting it in the top of B tier. Moving along to the spider curl, one that I have tried quite a bit and quite enjoy. Probably not as good as the preacher curl, but definitely a good variation if you don't have access to a specific preacher setup. Still very good exercise, no real faults. It's going to be going in the B tier along with these other ones. Moving right along to the front cable curl. This will be a variation of the cable curl, emphasizing a lot more of the short head. No real faults in this one, like just a pretty overall good exercise. I think I'm going to be putting that as well in the B tier. A lot of these are just very good exercise. I think there's a few that are definitely better. There's no real bad exercises in this list, as I said before, but in relation, I'll put it in C tier just because I don't think it's as good as these other ones up here. Moving along to the concentration curl. Honestly, I just haven't tried this exercise that much. I often just find that the plateau for strength is a bit short. Overall, just decent exercise, so I guess I'll put it in C tier. Not amazing, but not bad. Moving on to the reverse curl. This is a very good one for not necessarily the biceps, but the brachialis and the brachioradialis in your arm, which will ultimately add good thickness to your arm. I think it's a very good for its purpose. I think that it's definitely obviously there's the hammer curl as well, which is good for it, but I think the reverse curl might be a little bit better to a degree, so I'll be putting that at the top of A tier. And hammer curl, very similar, very good for building up the brachialis and also the biceps to a degree. So I'll be putting that in B tier, just about the middle. It doesn't matter too much. Moving on to the triceps portion of the arms. So starting off with the dip, very good compound exercise for building up your triceps. A good way to really hammer those triceps. There's obviously going to be a bit of chest involvement similar to the upcoming exercise as well, but great way to build good pushing strength, good development in the triceps. And so it's going to be going in the A tier, one of my favorite exercises for sure. Moving on to the close grip bench press. Again, it'll also be hitting the shoulders and the chest to a degree, but if you have this closer grip, you'll definitely be working more on the lockout with the triceps. Very good exercise. I'd say I'll go like top of A tier, just below the reverse curls. Very good one. All right, now moving on to more of the isolation of the triceps. So one thing to note is that there's obviously 3 heads in the triceps, hence tricep, and 2 of the heads will mostly be worked whenever you're doing any movement where you're extending the elbow. However, the long head, which makes up 2/3 of the triceps and therefore almost about half of the arm, is worked a little bit more when it's in a stretch position. It will obviously work as well to a degree from any other position, but I think that when you're doing direct triceps work, it's very important to be doing it in a stretch position, which is why I'm a big fan of the overhead extension. It's a good way to really get a good stretch, put up some good weight, and just overall just a very good exercise. It's going to be going in A tier. And then coming up to the next exercise being the tricep pushdown. I'm not gonna lie, like it's obviously it's good, but I just think that, as I said, it doesn't put as much emphasis on the long head. And with the triceps, you're gonna be working the triceps in a lot of push movements in your chest exercises, your shoulder exercises. So I think that when you are working your triceps, you need to make sure you're optimizing it for the long head, because that's going to be the largest portion, and obviously your like other 2 heads will be worked in those other things. So it's important to optimize, and since this isn't going to be in a stretch position, it's still going to work it to a degree because obviously it's locking out. I think that it's optimal to use other variations, so it's going to be going in D tier, as opposed to the cable push away, which gets a good stretch, is going to be going in the B tier. Very good, similar to the overhead extension, just very optimal for getting the good stretch and being able to get a good contraction, and yeah, best for the triceps. Now, moving on to the top 3 exercises that I would recommend. So even though the triceps are a bigger muscle, like as I said before, it's going to be worked a decent amount in your chest and your shoulder exercise through pressing movements, and therefore obviously the biceps will be the same with pulling movements, but it's generally going to be better, like the biceps won't be worked as much as the triceps will be worked in a pushing movement. So we're going to be doing 2 bicep exercises and 1 tricep exercise. So we're going to be going with the standing curl, just a good way to work the overall biceps in its entirety, a good way to load it up with good weight, followed by the incline curl. I think it's very good, important to be emphasizing the long head, and also just a personal favorite of mine. Is just a very good movement. I've recommended these to a lot of people, and they've said like definitely they've enjoyed them, and they've gotten a lot of good results out of them. Finally, between these 2, obviously, as I said before, you'll be getting a lot of like regular medial and lateral head of the triceps work in your other push movements, and there's a good chance you're obviously going to be doing dips as well for like chest day. So I'll be going with the overhead extension for my top 3. Obviously, dips absolutely an amazing exercise. If you saw the chest video, I did put that in the top 3 recommendations, so don't hate on me for not putting it in the top 3. But for my most underrated pick, I'm going to be going with the cable pushaway, simply because I think that when it comes to cable tricep exercises, I think that the push down gets all the love, whereas the cable pushaway is what's going to get you a lot more emphasis on the long head, which is going to give you the most size on your triceps. And for the most overrated, I think that I've made my opinions clear. I'm going to go with the push downs, just because again, they're not a bad exercise, but when you're working your triceps, you're not going to be putting too much time into it, and therefore you want to really optimize it. And I just don't think the push downs are going to be optimizing your time. So there we have the list. And there we have it. If you found this video helpful, be sure to drop a like. If you have any comments or any disagreements with anything that happened in the list, be sure to let me know down below in the comments. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want your own tailored program where I break everything down for you, be sure to check it out on the website, link in the description down below.